I'm just doing this to help people working in their own garage to change their tubeless tires. It's really that simple. If you have problems with your rim band and you're thinking you need to put some goop on there to make it seal, I think it's time that you clean everything and you get a new rim band and try that. Silicone sealant, that smell it has, that sharp odor, that's acid. It's very corrosive to metals. Be aware that if you use it to seal your rubber rim band, not only is it a messy job that probably won't work, but over a long period of time, it will corrode the internal surfaces of your wheel. My tools for today: I have my stainless steel wire brushes. I have my plastic tool. I have 3 tire irons. My bottle of dishwashing detergent mixed in water. A wood block. This was a great score. I'm never going to sell this tool. This is really handy for these tubeless tires. The first thing we will do is to remove the valve stem. To let the air out of the tire is one thing, but to take out the valve stem, that allows the tire to equalize with the atmospheric pressure, and it's easier to break loose the bead, which I will demonstrate the bead breaking process. This part of the tool actually goes down in there next to the rim edge and unseats the bead from the rim just by pressing down on the lever. Then you can release the bead all the way around. You want to break the bead loose on both sides of the rim. Okay, so we have the tire broken loose from the seal of the rim edge, and you have the valve core. On a tubeless tire, there is no inner tube in there, so this just stays in place. But we want to start removing the tire here at this point. The reason being that on the opposite side of the tire, we'll want to have the bead edge down into this area of the rim. This gives us more space opposite so that we can take the bead over the rim edge. Now, the reason we're opposite of the valve stem is because the valve stem protrudes into the interior of the rim a little bit. I like to make sure I'm using the disc side to remove the tire. This way you don't stand the chance of your knuckles getting into the sprocket. So the first thing I do here, remember I have the tire all broken loose, is I use this soapy water that I have. It's just dishwashing detergent, and it's mixed into water in a pump spray. I put this in here just to lubricate the tire a little bit. I start, of course, with it pushed down over here, and I insert a couple of tire irons and I get them underneath the edge of the tire. In this case, I'm just going to use 3 there. And I start by pulling the tire over, making sure it's down on this side, and I hook my tire iron under the disc, and then the next one, and then the next one you pull over, and by this point you have the tire basically off, and you can just pull it around like this with the tire iron. Okay, again, with the starting in the valve stem point, I have the tire down here in the center part of the rim, and I can just pick up the tire with the tire iron like this and just fold it over the rim. Typically, you can pull on it and it'll come right off, just like that. There you have it. The mounting process is basically the same in reverse. However, I do fully lubricate these areas of the bead with the soapy water. It makes the tire go on easier. About the rim itself and the sealing rim band. On the older ones, there's a sealing band that seals this spoke area in the wheel. And it's actually thick rubber, and it is a special part. It's not like your normal sealing band where you would have a tube. In the past few years, they've improved this product. Most manufacturers now have switched to the sealing band, which has the valve stem built into the rubber sealing band itself. I'm holding this example here. The things you should be aware of when you're working with this band primarily is when you're taking off the tire, you want to be careful that you don't damage it with your tire irons. But it sits down in there a pretty good distance down inside the rim. But it seals against a lip, a machined lip that's on each side of the rim. So to remove the band, starting opposite the valve stem, I have a plastic tool actually here, but you can use a screwdriver, but you need to get under the edge of it and pull it out and get it out from under that lip. And once you get under it, you just get a hold of it and you just pull it off of the wheel. Okay, so when you disassemble the valve stem on the older type rim band, the one that the valve stem is separate, pay close attention to the arrangement of the pieces. There are several small components in this, and there is a small aluminum spacer bushing casquillo that goes in the rubber band so that when you tighten up the lock nut that's on the outside of the rim, that you don't squeeze the rubber band and cause a leak there. If you're going to be working on this and trying to solve a leaking rim band, be aware that if you have any plugs in your tire from punctures, or if there's dirt and grit in the edges of the rim along the edges of the tire, on the bead edge, your leaks may actually be there, so you might want to put the tire in a large vessel of water and see where the bubbles are coming from. If they're coming from around the spokes, then obviously you have a leak in the band. If you're going to go to the trouble to try and fix this leak, it's best just to put a new rim band in there at that time, the new style with the built-in valve stem. But the surfaces of the rim must be perfectly clean. So I have stainless steel brushes that I use, and you have to get in there and just take some time and use some soap and water, and also you want to clean the inside edge of the rim itself where the tire seals against it, like this. You want your work area, the entire interior of the rim, to be very clean. I am aware of the fact that this is a rim with no spokes, but it's a new one and I'm just going to use it for demonstration here. I've seen many times where the person takes silicone sealant and just makes a big mess inside the wheel trying to make this seal. But also, people attempt to put this band on dry, and it's a very sticky type of rubber, and that's what helps it seal. Beside the fact that you must be clean, you need to have the work area and the band itself lubricated with soapy water, the same mixture that I used for taking off and putting on the tire itself. You have your soapy water and you have your clean rim and your clean new rim band, and you're going to make everything very wet and soapy. And your rim band. Now, why do I do this? Well, it's because the rim band, if you try to install it dry, it will be bunched up on one side and stretched too thin on the other side. And if your whole work area is slippery, then the rim band can find its own center. It can equalize around the rim. Then the soapy water, you can wipe it away, but it will eventually evaporate and dry out. So the first thing you do, obviously, is you locate the valve stem in the valve stem hole. I fold the rim band over and I push it down in the valve stem area and then press it down in there. And then I have the rim band folded like this, and you just pull it around, and then you lay the wheel on its side like this, and you just pull the rim band around the wheel like this with your hands. Okay, so I have it on the rim. Ouch, it pinched me. And so then you have to work it around and tuck it in all the way around. And staying wet and soapy the whole time. You can do it with your fingers usually. You start like with your thumb and you're pushing on it, and it's not quite centered here, so I'm going to pull on it with a tool and get it centered. I actually have these nylon plastic, they're automobile windshield glass tools that they don't tear things up. You can use wooden utensils, something from the kitchen, a small wooden spoon or something. Probably not a good idea to use a screwdriver or a chisel, because if you put a tear in this band, then it's ruined. Thank you for watching my video. Good day and goodbye. Adios y buenos dias. Adeu y bon dia. Ciao.